Today is the 49th day of my juice fast and also the 6th day of our 3,000 plus mile motorcycle trip. I thought I'd be able to blog a lot more frequently, but it's been really hard to find not only the time and space to do it, but the privacy to do it because we are in a fairly cramped situation with there's 10 of us um, in a couple hotel rooms. Now we're finally in a condo, and Hugh and I have our own room, but it's still hard to find time to actually do this. The physical demands of the trip were about what I expected, even though it's been really hard. The first day, well, first of all, I want to say I'm still 100% juicing, 100% faithful to what I'm committed to, and feeling really good and really positive about where I'm at. However, and there's a lot of howevers about this, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. The first day was really hard, physically as well as mentally. The first day started out bad from the very beginning. I was really fatigued to start with, and actually, probably 10 minutes into the ride before we'd even met up with the rest of the group, I actually tipped my bike over at a stop sign, which is a pretty bad thing to do. I didn't hurt myself or anything, just when I went to take off, I didn't have a good momentum, and Hugh and Jesse had to get off their bike and help me lift mine up. So that kind of got to my nerves as well as just where it was at for the day mentally, emotionally. That was hard. And then a few hours later in Montana, I did the same thing with a couple of the other people behind me. So it was not a fun start. And I was feeling just really a lack of confidence that day in my own writing skills. Um, the second day, the first 4 days, we did about 350 miles each day. And by the second day, I started having a lot of problems with my knees. They just really hurt because your feet are in one position for the whole time, and I just really wasn't up to it and didn't have enough endurance built up to be able to continue it. So the second day we were trying to make Twin Falls, Idaho from Missoula, Montana, which is I think about 400 miles. I think you can do it in 350, but we wanted to go through Sun Valley, so that added some mileage to it. And Hugh was aware that I was having a really hard time, so he was willing to stop in Sun Valley even if the rest of the group continued on. My main motivation for wanting to stop that day was that the third day the group had actually planned on going from Twin Falls to the Bonneville Speedway Raceway in Utah and then down to Ely, Nevada. So it was still only like a 350 or 400 mile day, but it involved a big stop in the middle as well as some racing, some fast riding on the Bonneville Raceway. And I just knew I'd be exhausted. So as tired as I was the second day, I knew it was going to be even worse the third day, and the fourth day was going to be a long day. So we actually stopped in Sun Valley, just Hugh and I and Jesse, and stayed the night there. And then on the third day, we got a call from the rest of the group that said they had also decided it was too big of a stretch to try and do everything in one day. So they were just going to meet us in Nevada, in Ely, Nevada. So we actually had a longer ride than they did on the third day, but I'm still glad that we stopped. Um, the third day was actually a really good day. I started to feel better. We stopped every 60 or 70 miles, had some water, walked around, and made it without nearly the problems that I had the second day. And then the fourth day, I was fine and kept up with the rest of the group, and we made it to our destination in St. George, Utah. Um, then we rested yesterday. Actually cooked quite a bit yesterday and found that that was a good outlet for me to feel like I was somehow contributing and to the social aspect of the trip. That was fun. I made bacon and blue cheese stuffed burgers and made some chicken salad that was for lunch today. Made some potato salad. Um, but the dinner was good last night and everybody seemed to enjoy it. Today we went to Zion National Park in Utah, which explains my sunburn. It's like 110, 15 degrees, and it has been ever since we got to Utah. It's been really hot, but Zion was incredible, just breathtaking views and these sheer red and peach colored cliffs just jutting out of the earth and up to 5,000 miles, or I'm sorry, 5,000 feet in the air. Really impressive. Can't help but be awed by the creator when you're there in the park. As soon as I saw it, that was the first thing I thought of. One thing I'm having a struggle with, and I talked about this a little bit in my blog yesterday, is seeing the daily photos from what we're doing, because I feel so much better since I've been on this juice fast. But when I look at the pictures and see what I look like now, it doesn't reflect how I feel now, and they're pretty heinous, for lack of a better word. I've got so far to go, and it's not necessarily discouraging, but it just, I mean, I know that it's a reality, but it's hard to see it in living color. And there's a lot of pictures that we're taking for this trip, and I don't want to not be in the pictures just because I don't like how I look, even though that's been my method in the past to deal with it, is just to avoid pictures. In fact, today in Zion, we had a professional photographer who wanted to get pictures of of the group as well as the individual people. And it was hard to pose on my bike and, know that I'm going to see those later and not like how they look. But I did it. And I guess if nothing else, they'll be good before and during photos for the future. One thing I feel also really good about during this trip is the fact that I am becoming a more capable motorcycle rider. I feel more confident in my skills. I've still got plenty to learn. But other than that first day, I haven't dropped my bike, which is a big accomplishment. And then I've also not been killing it in first gear when I tried to take off, which was something that used to happen all the time. Feeling really good about the corners. I'm keeping up with the group speed-wise. All things that are pretty important when you're traveling with a group. So that's been a positive. As for sticking to the juice fast during the trip, that's been pretty interesting. We've been to, 2 or 3 restaurants a day, pretty much every day, until we got to the condo. And then here, I've done a majority of the cooking at my own request. I just enjoy it. But the restaurants, I guess probably one of the hardest things is when people are like apologizing that they feel bad that I'm not eating, and that just makes me feel worse because I'm doing this by choice. I am enjoying my juice, and I have to stick to it. I appreciate that Hugh does not apologize when he wants to eat something, and I think he knows that it's easier for me if he doesn't, feel bad. But a lot of the other people seem to feel bad at first. I think they're getting used to it now. A couple people have commented that they could never do this on a vacation because it would take a lot of the fun out of it. But for me, it's definitely adding to my enjoyment of the experience because I'm not feeling that guilt over food I shouldn't be eating and knowing that I'm gaining weight or gaining weight back. One thing that's been kind of interesting is almost every night since I left, I have dreamed that I gain weight on the trip. And I think it's because I can't weigh myself. And last night, it's like over and over and over again. That's all I dreamed about is that I came back and I weighed more than when I left. And I don't think that would be possible because of the little amount that I'm consuming as opposed to the high amount that I have to be burning between the heat and the riding and, the physical activity, swimming, whatever it is that we're doing. Tomorrow's going to be a work day for me, and I'm hoping to have some more time to post. And I definitely want to be able to do more of the video blogs. I really appreciate all the support and all the positive emails and positive comments. For now, I guess that's all I have to say. This is ending day 49, which is the end of 7 weeks. Tomorrow begins my 8th week on the juice fast, and I have, I think, 10 weeks to go. So that's all for now. Bye.